Good people, good Kenyans, good citizens, good viewers of the Citizens Mic podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good everything. I hope you're well. I hope you're just doing good. Today, I'm so happy again to have Victor Maobe joining us for the conversation today. So we are going to look at what happened over the weekend, Victor, because there are so many things that happened. We saw mirengo tofauti. Yes, and especially ODM. They had their is it campaigns or is it rallies across the country? So that is some of the things that we are gonna look at in this podcast today. And I'll take this opportunity again to welcome you to this podcast. Remember, the Citizens Mic is the place to be every other time. We give everybody an opportunity to air out their issues. Your opinions really matter in this podcast. So, karibuni sana. Remember always to follow, to like, and to watch our interviews in this podcast. So, karibu sana, Victor Maobe.
Thank you for having me. This is not my first time. Now, I feel home now. Thank you so much for giving us this platform to speak our minds to the people.
You know what is happening in ODM. You even know also what is happening with UDA, because whatever is happening in ODM is also affecting UDA in this. I remember that time when the leader of ODM, that is Daktari Oburu, when he said that he told Kithure Kindiki, who is currently the deputy president, that don't worry, we are not interested in your in your position. But then when they went to Mombasa for the NEC meeting, I remember again there he went and said, remember, people misquoted me. People misunderstood me. What I said is that hatuna shida na nani? Na deputy president. What we are interested in, and mostly interested in, is that position of deputy presidency. Again, the deputy president, Kithure Kindiki, you heard him, he came out and said, I'm the deputy president, and nobody is going to take me out of this. So my question has been, what are we expecting to see between now this coalition that they've been talking about, the broad-based government? So what are we expecting to see after this? Because it is quite clear, just like the day... it is quite clear that there is a problem. And personally, I feel that we shall see a lot of breakups in those parties, even in the UDA itself.
First of all, we need to look at the genesis of all this. The relationship between UDA and ODM was actually a forced relationship. Because when you remember, before the late Raila Amolo Odinga passed on, at the aftermath of the 2022 elections, there were rallies across the country where you see Sifuna putting the sufuria on the head and so on. So those rallies, they were trying to strike a balance between the government. And the government was actually accusing the opposition of trying to get nusu mkate, William Ruto, another handshake. And Ruto said, he vowed not to. I'll never go for an handshake with Raila Odinga. It has been his card. You know, all this was forced by the current broad-based government. It's just it's a precipitate, if we can put it that way, of the Gen Z protest. Because after the Gen Z protest, it's when Raila Odinga and William Ruto were forced to come together, at least to unite the country. And the reason that they gave for this, they said that we cannot allow, to take this regime home, without taking it through the ballot. They said we don't want it to be taken through the streets. Actually, they were worried that the army will take over. And that was the main reason as to why Raila Odinga said he went to seek for a coalition with William Ruto to sit down and try to stabilize the country, stabilize the economy.
Actually, I remember him saying that, and when the time comes, they will ask why we did this. He said, we shall now tell them why we did this.
And it's unfortunate that he passed on before we could see the end of his script. But again, Oburu Odinga stepped in. Even before Oburu Odinga stepped in, there were dissenting voices within the ODM. The likes of Edwin Sifuna, Babu Owino, the young Turks within ODM, they sided with the Gen Zs. They say that the kind of demands that the Gen Zs are raising, they are making sense. So why are we supporting William Ruto? William Ruto's regime should just go. Because it has lost legitimacy. But Raila Odinga tolerated them inside the party. And he said, you are entitled to your own opinion.
Yes.
You know, because it's a democratic organization. But again, at the aftermath of the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, now we are finding a very difficult situation where those who are pro the broad-based government are trying to take full control of the party. They're trying to, to kick out people. We've seen Edwin Sifuna being expelled from the party, unlawfully being expelled. But what I'd expect from someone like Oburu Odinga, is older than Raila Amolo Odinga, right? But again, the first thing that Oburu will have done after assuming office as the party leader now, in fact, as an acting party leader, he should have brought the party together. That was the first thing. Because William Ruto needs the ODM support. Of course, his political support base has been shifted to the opposition zones. After what happened in Mount Kenya, he knows very well the ouster of Rigathi Gachagua affected him in the Mount Kenya region. So he's trying to compensate using the opposition regions. But now ODM will not be beneficial to William Ruto if they will not be united and come out as a block. Because the numbers that are in Mount Kenya, for you to match that kind of numbers, you need a united opposition. You need a united ODM. But the cracks that we are seeing in ODM right now, they are paving way, for more and more teams that are coming up. Yesterday, we saw what went on in Kitengela. We saw how massive that rally was in Kitengela. The police were forced to fire tear gas canisters.
Yes.
Why would you disperse an organic crowd? Nobody destroyed anything. It was a peaceful rally. So this tells you that the government, the broad-based government, is feeling the weight.
Actually, some people have come out to allege that the president, the ouster, the removal of Sifuna from that seat of SecGen, the president has a hand behind that. That is what people are saying.
It could be true because, Oburu Odinga as the party leader, he needs to act in a neutral way. As a party leader of a party that has dissenting voices within it, ODM is a protest movement. Most of us have been a member of the ODM party. It's because it's a protest movement, a movement that is meant to defend the weak, the voiceless in this country. So when the party leader takes sides, Oburu Odinga has failed in that part. You shouldn't take sides. You should come and unite. It's your house. You are the father of this house. When you are a father in a home and your children have disagreed, you don't take sides with a section of the children. You bring them all together and ask them, what is the problem? How can we solve this? How can we forge a way forward? Because Edwin Sifuna is still the Secretary General of ODM party.
Having listened to what most of the leaders in ODM, especially that faction which is on the side of the broad-based, I've heard them several times saying that they are tired of being in the opposition. So what is happening right now is that they wouldn't want anybody to stand in between them and their goals of being part of the government.
That is, I've seen also that, and it's very unfortunate that we have leaders within the ODM party, which is a protest movement party, speaking that way. Because what does it mean to be in government? What does it mean to be in government? How many people in ODM are in government? You can count them. They are less than 10.
They are less than 10,
right? They earn salaries. They are, they can access the privileges of power. But how about the millions of members of ODM party that are down here, the grassroots? ODM needs to defend the collective. They don't need to defend individual interests. When you say that we are tired of being in the opposition, what does it mean to be in the opposition? What it means is that you are trying to tell the government, this is what the people want. Can you prioritize the issues that the people are facing? What have they what this broad-based section within the ODM party, what kind of reforms have they brought forth? What changes have they brought that the common mwananchi can feel it?
Actually, the first thing that Kenyans need to hold these leaders accountable of, first of all, is the 10 points. The 10 points agenda.
The 10 points agenda that the late Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto signed.
Yes.
How many of those, even compensation of the victims of the protest, they've not been compensated. Then how do you say that ODM is tired of being in the opposition? ODM needs to understand that they are not in the opposition by themselves. It's the people, it's the majority of the people who feel like the state is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. And the work of the opposition is to keep the ruling regime in check. Now, you've abandoned your role of being the opposition leader. Now you want to enjoin a government in which you never elected them. And if ODM claims that the ideologies of UDA and ODM are similar, why did they contest them in the 2022 elections? They will have just come together, merged and formed and formed a unitary kind of force so that they could take power. So the only way ODM is going to take power is by going back to the people and listening to what the people want. It's a sign that people are not broad-based arrangement. It's a sign because look at what happened in the Dagoretti North when Edwin Sifuna came and the team, where I come from. There were crowds. People were willing. People are yearning to listen to the changes that this faction can bring. Look at what happened in Kitengela.
Yes.
That crowd was really organic. And that was in Kajiado County. Edwin Sifuna is the governor for Nairobi County. If it were in Nairobi, he's a senator. Sorry, for Nairobi County. So this tells you that ODM, they need to listen to the people. And majority of the people within the ODM party, members of the ODM party, they are not supporting this broad-based arrangement. Look at their meetings in Mombasa. They look like a funeral arrangement. Because people are branded, people are... watu wamekwa kwa kiwanja, wamevaliwa orange.
Yes.
Who comes from their home branded that way? An organic crowd should not be that branded. You have a cape, you have a t-shirt, and then there's a stage. It's like it's like a concert. No, what we're trying to say is that ODM must listen to the majority. What does the majority want? And Oburu Oginga should not assume what the people want. First of all, he feared the people at the NDC. Oburu has been fearing the people. Come at the position of the party leader. For him to legitimize his position as the party leader, he ought to face other people who wanted the position at the NDC within the party. Because according to the party constitution, Oburu Odinga should not be the party leader. He was not a deputy party leader. How do you assume a position, yet you are not even the deputy party leader? You ought to go to an election so that you could contest that position. So we cannot have an illegitimate party leader trying to remove a legitimate secretary general from office.
I had not looked at it from that perspective, by the way. Where did he come from to be the leader? Being
related to Raila Odinga is not a guarantee for you to lead the ODM party. ODM has more than 5 million members. So how do you lead over 5 million people? You've never contested for him. In fact, Oburu Odinga is a beneficiary of the Raila Odinga the name. There are those people who are going to be casualties after the demise of Raila Amolo Odinga. Because Oburu Odinga has fought for nothing in this country. You can mention one thing, that any reform that Oburu Odinga has fought for in this country, there is none. Oburu Odinga has fought for nothing. That's why he's actually a sleeping Joe. You remember the sleeping Joe? The former Biden. Why am I calling him the sleeping Joe? Look at his age. He needs to work with the young people who are going to give him the fresh ideas that the grassroots wants.
Let me ask you a question. Does it is he really acting out of his own will?
I don't think so. I think Oburu Odinga is surrounded by some kind of... there is an oligarch within ODM party.
Because look at the people who are surrounding him. We are talking of the likes of the Homa Bay
Governor Gladys Wanga.
Yeah, we are talking of the likes of the Mombasa County Governor. Yeah. We are talking about the likes of the CS, Ali Hassan Joho. Yeah. We are talking about Nani. This is Badi.
Yeah.
So those people who have benefited from that broad-based coalition arrangement are the ones who are surrounding this.
Actually,
so I think he's not really acting out of his own will.
And that is lacking leadership, because as a leader, you should have a stand. And as a leader, you should know how to balance. Because you cannot tell me the people that are benefiting from this government, especially the so-called experts that were donated to the government, are the people that are telling you what to say. They are the people that are pulling strings. Let me tell you, Oburu Oginga has failed as a leader. Because you need to balance both sides.
Amefeli mapema.
Amefeli mapema sana. Because you need to call these sides, then bring the whole party in order. But again, there are also family wrangles that are coming up within the ODM party, within the Oginga Odinga family. And we could see the people like Winnie Odinga, Ida Odinga, Junior. The Raila family is siding with the faction of Sifuna,
yes.
Because we saw Winnie attending the presser that Edwin Sifuna was addressing the media.
Yes.
And that tells you that Winnie disagrees with the uncle of what the uncle is doing. Because Winnie has been categorically clear. She said that ODM is a protest movement. ODM was not created in a boardroom. ODM does not qualify to brand people and put them in a hall or somewhere and then claim that now we are strong as a party. ODM has been in the streets for this time. And ODM without tear gas is not ODM. And we all know where we saw tear gas yesterday. So that's where ODM is. Yeah.
Okay.
There was tear gas in Kitengela.
So that is where
ODM is. This other side, there is no ODM.
Yeah?
This is not ODM.
So now, actually, I've been asking myself a question. Yeah. Why is it that we had like a 3 rally movement? Was even 3 or 4? Because yes. we had the Gachagua
one, yes.
Yeah, we also... Yes, we also had the Sifuna one.
Yes,
we also had the Mombasa one. I think and there was another one. So now the question is, why only this one did we experience the issues of tear gas in only one of the rallies?
The answer is just clear. We came from the Gen Z protest brought all a political shift in this country. And we all know that after the Gen Zs went to the streets, they were actually taken back to their homes, not because they had achieved what they wanted to achieve. It's because of the bullets that were on the streets. It's because the government made the streets very hostile for young people to go and show their discontent with the way the country is being governed. And you find that we have young people like Edwin Sifuna, Babu Owino, that have always been on the people's side since day one. Someone like Babu Owino has been so categorically clear. He has been with the people. He even went against the party stand and said, no, I'm going to side with the Gen Zs. So you find that William Ruto's regime is afraid of a reconnaissance of the Gen Z movement. Because if you look at what happened in Kitengela yesterday, majority of the people in that rally, they were young people.
I saw millennials, Gen Zs.
Yes. And they were even carrying the Kenyan flags. So it actually gave me a memory of how the Gen Z protests were happening. So they are just afraid that young people are going to come out in their numbers. And young people are going actually to be politically awake once more and maybe register as voters because they will have found something on the menu for them. And this something on the menu is this their fellow young people, the Edwin Sifuna, the Babu Owinos, and so on. So the government is more afraid of the power of young people than it is afraid of the power of the old people. If you look at the ideas of Gachagua, they don't threaten the government because they know Gachagua is here to bargain for his stake in this government. And we can easily sit him down and talk. But can you tell me they've tried to persuade these young Turks within the ODM party, the Babu Owinos, the Edwin Sifunas, and they failed to do that. And beyond that, they went to Dagoretti North. Crowds were forming up. They went to Busia. You saw how Busia was. Crowds were swelling up. And then they went to Kitengela, and we also what happened in Kitengela. So this has become a threat, not just to the regime, but also to the ODM party. Because the ODM party, yesterday there's a photo which has been doing rounds of, the rock of all ages. This Sleeping Joe. It was being shown something by Gladys Wanga on phone. I believe he was being shown how the rally in Kitengela was going on.
Yes.
So this tells you that ODM fears to be swallowed. And one advice I'd give to Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino, and if they follow this advice and then the other ODM, I think we were done with the state funeral of Raila Amolo Odinga. We should be waiting for the next state funeral of this ODM that is led by Oburu Odinga. How do we expect that? We need these people in the streets. In fact, protests will come back because we never achieved our targets of the Gen Z protest. Let them revive that. Let them call us back to the streets so that we can put this country in order. The only way you are going to put this country in order is through the streets. It's not through the table negotiations. William Ruto is so good at negotiations.
But I would like to see peaceful protests.
Of course, they are peaceful.
That is, if it is a matter of protest,
Let me tell you,
yes.
Nobody can call protest so that we can go to the streets and fight between ourselves. We've called protest because we are fighting for education. We are calling protest because the cost of living has gone high. We are calling for protest because our parents cannot afford. All these cannot be called so that we can go and fight in the streets. We are calling them so that we can be heard by the state. But if the state decides to cause violence, as it has always done. Actually, violence has always been engineered by the state. It's not the people. I've been attending rallies. I've been attending demonstrations in ODM. And I'll tell you, nobody goes to the demonstrations to be rowdy or to be violent. Nobody. It's the police that begin the violence. In Kitengela, who went there to be violent? It's the police who started by throwing tear gas. Why are you throwing tear gas where there's a gathering? More than 7 people were seriously injured. Why would you do that? People are gathered here.
And they are peaceful.
They are peaceful. But you want to disrupt the meeting. You don't want the meeting to appear as if it has been successful. Before that, you've destroyed the sound systems. You've destroyed the dais. Who is here? Who is now engineering violence in this? It's the state.
Well, we are waiting to hear what the government will say about that, because of course, like for example, the Gachagua one, the state came out and they said that they are not the ones who are responsible for that.
But they're the people who are supposed to tell us who is responsible for it.
This one, I'm just waiting to hear what the government is going to say.
Let me put this clear. As the state, you have the responsibility of holding anybody who breaks the law accountable. Have we seen anybody being apprehended because of what happened at the church in Gachagua?
Okay. Oh, yeah, not yet.
Not yet?
Yes.
Have we seen anybody? Do you believe you can be outside government, cause violence, and you still spend a night in your house? The state will come for you. The state knows where every citizen lives. How did they abduct young people during the Gen Z protest? They use satellites. They can see you where you are. At that point.
Even now, they can see where we are.
They can see us where we are. We cannot hide from the state. So if indeed it's the people that are calling for the protest who are engineering the violence, then why can't the state go for them?
Okay, I think that's a
because
good call.
We've given them resources, we've given them the power. Constitutionally, they can hold you accountable.
Well, I think we are yet to see a lot of things happening, and especially now that it is just we are counting. Is it even just 1 year to elections? Yeah. So basically, this environment that we have already started experiencing is something that we're gonna experience for the rest of the year, and even come 2027 as we head towards the election. But my call is one call that I usually have is peaceful. Like, let's maintain everything peaceful. That is just my call. If it is about a protest, but let them be peaceful.
Okay. Yes. We all want a peaceful country because we cannot thrive where there is no peace. But again, also justice needs to be served, because where there is justice, peace is just a byproduct of justice.
Sure.
In fact, instead of calling for peace, call for justice. Because once we have justice, peace will just find its way.
Let me call for the peace so that now people can go and ensure that there is justice, so that people can go and ensure that everybody does what is right.
Yeah.
So
and
for
actually
us
we
to-
need
yes, yes.
political maturity in this country. I usually see, like my mother organization in South Africa, you could see how the EFF holds their protests. They're usually very peaceful. Thousands of people go to the streets, they go somewhere, they present their petition, they speak, they address the crowd, and then they leave, they go back home. And that is the way we should go
Okay.
in a mature democracy. And we are hoping that this state will embrace that kind of maturity.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, the role of the police is not to fight the citizens, it's to protect the citizens.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So I think up to this moment, I would like to say thank you so much for coming. And also thank you to the viewers for choosing the Citizens Mic podcast. Remember, this is the only podcast that gives every voice an opportunity to be heard. You can be able to share your opinions, your ideas through this podcast. Please remember to subscribe, remember to share, remember to continue viewing and liking our interviews or our podcast. So thank you so much. Until next time, see you.